Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber-Rays, and today we're going to be doing the thing that I said I was going to do a long time ago, which is basically look at the second 7-star batch on the global side. And the reason that this has taken so long is just because there's been a lot of other stuff to talk about lately that's kind of taken priority. I think that this one is both a little bit less surprising and yet more surprising in some aspects. And so I still want to give my thoughts on this, also because some people have asked about it. And so, yeah, this is my thoughts on the second 7-star batch for globals. Let's get right into it. So I gotta say that this batch is both exciting and incredibly disappointing. It is the changes that makes global so very interesting, and given this batch, I gotta say, some of them are interesting, some of the stuff is just damn disappointing. So, as much as I want to talk about some units, really, let's focus and get the stuff right out of the way that I think is perfectly fine the way it was, and I'm glad it didn't change. First of all, Ayaka. Ayaka is a unit that I've had on the JP side for a while, and basically she was my crutch in Arena for a long time to remove that annoying pesky stomp. With that being said, I never needed anything more than 6-star Ayaka. If you have optional things like 7-star Fina, as well as, if Global ever gets a version of 7-star Santa Rosalia, then Ayaka is really not needed. I get it if she's the only 7-star potential healer you have, then she's probably going to be pretty important for you. But other than that, Ayaka already has this, Ayaka essentially has an expiration date stamped on her. It's basically when Aerith gets there. Aerith is just a completely better version of Ayaka, 100%. So, I have to say that Ayaka 7-star, while it is definitely good, and if it's your only option, it's a perfectly fine option for a good long amount of time, it's also something that I don't feel is necessary. I don't think this is something you need to UOC. In my experience with the JP side, I would say that Fina has just been longer term, more valuable in more trials because of her elemental resistance and the fact that that becomes really important into the future, as well as her auto revive. So Ayaka, she's very nice as a 7-star. I don't think she needed really any improvements, and I don't think her 7-star is necessarily needed. If you have a 6-star Ayaka already, she'll be good enough for the near future with Arena. And outside of that, probably be fine anyway until you can get a, focus maybe on Fina or Fid or Aerith or anything. But yeah, Ayaka, not super needed. The other unit that I think didn't really need any changes, who am I kidding, didn't need any changes, is Transtera. 7-star Transtera was broken for a long time on the JP side. Essentially just too strong and involved in too many OTK combos. Her 7-star form is incredibly powerful. If you can get it, you should get it, because until Ellie or Ultima come out, there's nobody who can compare in terms of magic damage. Well, CG Sakura, but Transtera is just incredibly strong for short-term battles. CG Sakura is better for long-term battles. Transtera is just incredibly strong and didn't need any enhancements, so I'm glad they didn't give her any enhancements, because it's kind of nice to eventually get some change and get some new units that are better. If otherwise, then the game will feel pretty damn stale after a long time. So this is fine. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the disappointments that I see in this batch. First of all, Tidus. I actually think that Tidus could have benefited from just getting, a generally nice buff to his damage in some way, shape, or form or his kit. Now, it's no doubt that his father will completely replace him later, but, for people who are Tidus fans, it would have been nice to see his 7-star just get a little bit more damage, because Hayu is available, and yeah, that's kind of the problem. Hayu is available, so physical damage dealers just have something to compare to now, and anything is a step down. So Tidus getting a little bit, not too much of a 7-star boost, but any 7-star boost would have been nice. And then we come to Ace. Ace is a character, well, he's not one of my favorite typo characters, but, you know, he's kind of iconic. He's kind of the mascot for the game. It would have been nice to see Ace just get a little bit extra of a boost, because in the future, Ace falls pretty damn hard. So hard, apparently, that I can't even find my 7-star Ace. Ah, there he is. I haven't leveled him max, yep. But yeah, Ace's kit is, you know, pretty fine. Has some nice debuffing stuff. Has some, generally still a powerful limit burst in a 7-star. But again, against Transtera, he doesn't really compete. So it would have been cool to see him get a little bit more help to be relevant. And a unit I don't have, but I'll talk about anyway, Emperor 7-star. Yes, being able to double cast fire from below is strong, but again, nowhere near comparison to Transtera. So it would have been nice to see Emperor get a little bit of a push, since, you know, 5-star base villains are pretty rare at the moment on the global side. So it would have been cool to see Emperor get, you know, a bit of a buff and just be stronger, because it could be a really long time before we see his re-release on the JP side. So would have been nice, but there it is. And quite possibly the biggest disappointment is Knight Delita. If you like him, if you want to use him, fine. But nothing in his kit. His kit was essentially very, you know, well, it just wasn't as good as a lot of the other options that were available out there. And yeah, by the time that Hayu came out, this guy was completely dead in the water. Nobody was using him. Nobody set him as a friend unit, and yeah, it was just kind of sad. He got some interesting enhancements, you know, mainly to deal around lightning damage, but it just was never worth it for him. So it would have been cool to see. He was probably the one that I would say needed the biggest help, and sadly he just did not get it, so he'll probably be relegated to just, you know, benchable forever. Which is a shame, but maybe his global enhancements will be better. I'm trying to be nice to people who like these units, even though really these units could have deserved a buff. Now, talking about the units that did get a buff, and what I think of them, first of all, Onion Knight. I do believe Onion Knight got better enhancements than he did on the JP side, and he has chaining partners in, for instance, Sephiroth. So I think this is fine. I think him getting a bit of a boost is actually really good for him. Shining Crystal, bonus damage against beasts, mechanical, stone, and undead, just 25% up, but it should help him stay a little bit more relevant for a little bit longer. That being said, how much longer? Again, physical damage dealers are in a bit of a tough spot right now because they have to be compared to Hayu. And yes, you will get tired of hearing Hayu. Global people were tired of hearing Hayu before this even started. But really, there's not much else you can say about it. Hayu is just really strong, and he becomes kind of just the most important damage dealer. So you're going to have to deal with that for a while, global people, until we get something better in the true dual hand era. Because dual wield coming back is a long time off. Next up is Queen, one of my favorite typo units. So again, I'm really happy that not only did, when she came out on the JP side, did she get just a big boost in the amount of damage she could do. Still have not gotten my 7-star Queen. Someday. Armor Piercing gets a bit of a boost, no longer move to use the attack, meaning that its quick hit chaining, which is Tidus type chaining, is much more reliable and much better. This is really great. She was a strong chain finisher, but now she can also have a potential future in chaining too. Again, kinda gotta use a specific family. She needs specific equipment to do elemental chaining, and she'll fall out eventually, but hey, it's kind of cool that they, you know, there is still some effort being put in to make her better. As for Nyx's 7-star ability that's the most valuable is obviously the one where he kills himself and gives Limit Burst. It allows for some OTKs that could only be possible with this ability. This ability is really cool, really unique, and I'm really glad that on the JP side, nobody has gotten this ability since he's gotten it. It makes Nyx very unique compared to all the other units in the game. So much so that his 7-star is completely worth it, in my opinion. Now, unfortunately, he just didn't get much of a buff to his kit, but he also did, because his Super TMR, which again is something you should never try for, it's just be something that you happen upon, and hey, cool. I mean, his dagger was already pretty nice, 158 attack, 50 defense, 20% to HP, as well as, I believe, another benefit, which is, you know, just 20% all element resistance. Pretty damn good. But now his Super TMR on the global side will have the fire element to it, and that makes it just generally better for Nyx, and potentially better for anyone in the future. It does mean that if you're going to equip this, I hope the enemy is not absorbing fire damage, but hey, the dagger was already a pretty damn good Super TMR, and I think this just makes it better. So yeah, I'll take it, and yeah, Nyx getting a bit of a buff is cool, because he was a pretty cool character in Kingsglaive, and that's kind of nice. Now, I'm not going to talk about Roberta in this, because I've already done my Roberta 7-star review, and yes, I'm going to talk just, well, okay, let's talk just a little bit about it. Yes, she can output damage. Yes, she can do a fair amount of damage against the training dummy. But compared to what future Dragoons can do, and I mean in that I mean CG Sid, it's nowhere near as much damage as they can do. Roberta is perfectly fine, but in comparison to the true dual hand meta that is just beginning, it's just not going to be enough. So while I applaud everyone who's using this girl, I mean, do know in the future that it's still not enough. I'm sorry. Just sorry. So yes, that is all good, but now we come to the one that is the best piece of news in this entire kit, one that actually I was really excited about when I found out, and that is Mercenary Ramza. And I do have a Mercenary Ramza somewhere in here. There he is. If for no other reason than to have him here while we talk about him. Mercenary Ramza is the one who got the biggest improvement by far. It's not even a contest how good Mercenary Ramza became. When Mercenary Ramza came out, he was this interesting idea of a unit that had, you know, some protection abilities that also status immune. It was like, oh, that's kind of unique. And then his 7-star kind of turns him into this tank. Okay, cool. But the problem with him is that while his, you know, his potential covering is pretty good, it does have some cooldown on it. And I don't know if this was a good decision, because this essentially now says, well, if you have 7-star Mercenary Ramza, you don't need to go for Seghart, and that kind of depreciates the value of Seghart, a tank who is near and dear to my heart on the Japanese side, because he's essentially been my main tank for a really long time. Long story short, Vanguard Protector not having any cooldown now makes Mercenary Ramza a top-tier tank. A matter of fact, I would say higher than somewhat. I would consider him actually maybe even a little bit better than Bosch, and almost to the level of Wilhelm, and probably at the same level as Seghart. Mercenary Ramza should be able to last you for a very long time. Now that he can, you know, cover some magic damage, but also have reliable physical cover, he's essentially just going to be a solid tier unit for the tank category for a long time to come. Mercenary Ramza has always been a unit that I've kind of been fond of, but never quite needed. Now that he has just become way better on the global side than the Japanese side, he's pretty damn fantastic. Out of all the units in this, he easily became the real prize of this entire batch. So, looking over the entire batch, it's pretty obvious that Trance Terra as well as Mercenary Ramza are probably the two best of the 7-star batches. However, I have to still say that if you were looking for one specific unit to invest into, it's probably going to be Trance Terra, because magic damage-wise, there's no one essentially until Ellie or CG Sakura. So if you don't have either, if you're not going to, you know, Ellie's a long way out, and if you don't have a way to make 7-star CG Sakura, Trance Terra is really good. You'll need her TMR, you'll need to invest in her, but she'll last you for a fair amount of time. barring anything new that comes along on the global side. And of course there is Fravia still, and Krista? I believe it's Krista, right? Krista actually... I can't remember if it's Christina or Krista. Anyway, there is some other potential on the global side of being very strong, but Transterra is just so damn strong. For people who got Mercenary Rams and can make him into a 7-star, congratulations to you. I think you can safely now skip Wilhelm 7-star as well as CG Sageheart. Not so much Awakened Rain, but that's because he's just the best magic tank ever. So yes, I would say that this is a much better batch for Global, and some really interesting surprises, and some fairly big disappointments too. Again, it's not that any of the units in this batch are bad, it's just some of the ones who needed I think could have used some improvements to keep them a little more relevant, just didn't get it. The ones who did get it, some of their enhancements, you know, they all help them, but maybe they're not quite enough to keep them long-term. But Mercenary Rams and Transterra, definitely the standouts in this batch. So I can't wait to see Batch 3 and see what comes with that. Till then, I'll see you all next time, and yeah. 3rd anniversary, still coming for the JP side. Should be interesting. See you next time.